This conference will now be recorded.
Wonderful. So this conference is getting recorded now. Let's get started. So the last class, what we were doing is we were looking into the assertions, guys. So we have spoken about these assertions and we have spoken about something called response assertion. Okay. So these assertions are similar to the checkpoints. If you're coming from the LoadRunner world, it will check for particular text. Okay. So these response assertions or assertions in general will check for certain response. It will go in the response and it will search for a certain thing. Okay, it might be a text, it might be whatever you wanted it to be. It will check certain thing of the response. Okay, something related to the response, these assertions will go ahead and check, and these assertions are put just to make sure that our our response is correct or not. Okay, this works exactly like your checkpoints. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull up the script and quickly demonstrate for the response assertion that we have already looked into. Okay, um, okay, so if you look at it, okay, we were using this script called demo of synchronization timer. Okay, instead of that I will say demo of assertions. Okay, okay, so there you go. So in the last class we have already I've already put an assertion on a particular text for the launch. Okay, so let me delete that and insert it again. So this is more like a recap. So the launch page, how it looks like, let's quickly look at it. Okay, so demo kicker. Okay, here is the launch page. Okay, here is the launch page, and you can search for any text. So let me search for this text called salt water, fresh water. Okay, if this text appears, then the launch page has appeared properly. That's what you're saying. Okay, so let me go ahead and add the assertion on this particular text. Okay, so this is the launch page. If the response for the launch page is correct, then we'll get this response, and definitely if we got this response, then you will be able to see this text. So let's go ahead and add this assertion just to make sure that the text appears. Okay, so we know that if the for the launch here is the response, and if this response is correct, then this text should appear, and that's exactly what I'm checking here. Okay, so you see response assertion and main samples only, or you can say main samples and subsamples, and we are checking for the text response, and if it contains the safer option rather than the substring, or you can put a substring as well, whichever you're comfortable with. Okay, now, I'll go ahead and execute this. Okay, I'll go ahead and execute this. If the assertion has passed, in any of the listeners, will it tell you that it has passed, guys? Will it mention that it has passed? Can somebody please tell me? Okay, option 1, it clearly mentions that the assertion has passed. Option 2, it will not mention in any of the assertions. What do you say, guys? Option 1 or option 2? Quickly, or 1 or 2? 1 or 2? Okay, one is it will go ahead and mention in one of these listeners that the assertion has passed. Okay, if the assertion is passed, it clearly mentions. Option 2, no, it will not. Okay, so there's only 2 people who have answered. I'll just say 1 or 2, guys. Okay, so it will not mention. If it passes, it will not mention in any of these listeners. Okay, only if it fails, then this is when it will go ahead and mention it. Okay, so let's go ahead and see it. Okay, in the assertion results, it's not mentioning what has happened with this assertion response assertion, neither in the tree, nor in the reports, nor in the table, nor in the summary report. Since it has passed, it will not mention anywhere that this response assertion has passed. Okay, but if it fails, it will certainly mention. Now I'm putting an extra space here, guys. Will it pass or will it fail? Okay, I'm putting an extra space here. Will this assertion pass or will this assertion fail? Now I'm putting an extra space here. I want a quick responses from you guys. All you have to say is why. Most of my questions are Y or N. Okay. Okay, it fails. Okay, so because whatever the text that you're looking for, even though you put an extra space, okay, whatever the text that you're looking for will not be there in the response. We get we get the response that we wanted, but here you have put a wrong assertion. Okay, you have put a wrong assertion. I just wanted to demonstrate this for you, that even the extra space will cause a problem. So you've got to be extra careful when you're putting that spaces and all that. Now it will definitely fail. I'll clear all the results, and if it fails, it will certainly mention. You see, in my assertion results, it is saying that the test failed, test expected to contain salt water, comma, double space, fresh water. But what will be there in the actual result is salt water, comma, fresh water. Okay, since there are spaces, it is supposed to fail, and that's exactly what it is showing. And even over here, it is showing it as a red color, and your assertion has failed. Okay, so go ahead. Somebody has a question. Please go ahead and ask that question. Somebody has a question? Yeah, because I've seen them unmuted. Okay, if you don't have a question, please mute yourself, guys. Okay, if you don't have a question, please mute yourself. Thank you. Okay, wonderful. So this is something that we have already demonstrated in the last class. Wonderful. Okay, so Kumar, okay, so you're login with J2EE. In the response, okay, login 18, let's look at the response as to what it will be. Did I clear the results? Oh my God. Okay, so hang on. Okay, so now I'm logging in with a username called J2EE, password called J2EE. Okay, so now response body. Okay, so I'll look it up in the HTML so that I'll be able to see, and it says welcome ABC. Okay, since I'm logging with J2EE, okay, here it is saying welcome ABC. Okay, so for the name, for the username called J2EE, for the username called J2EE, okay, instead of showing it here, let me show it in the application. Okay, I'm signing in with J2EE as a username, J2EE as a password, and here it says welcome ABC. Here it says welcome ABC. Okay, had I sign in with, let's say, test1, okay, and test1, okay, assuming that there is a username called test1. Okay, so let me register with test1 and test1. Okay, test1, okay, the first name also I'm putting it as test1. Okay, last name, leave it to last name, email address, phone number, everything I'm putting with test1. Okay, I'm just registering with test1, guys. Okay, there seems to be some issue. Maybe I have to select these things. Okay, data integrity where exactly is the problem? Can somebody please quickly look into this error? Somebody is SQL experts and see what is this integrity constraint, not full constraint. Maybe the username is already used, test1. So let me use test345. Okay, or maybe let's say Isha test1. Okay. This cannot be true. Okay. Okay, so there is some validation which might be happening. Okay, maybe it is expecting the last name as well. Okay, so test1 is what I'll give the last name as well. Okay, let me see if it will work. Okay, so it was expecting the last name which I was not giving. That's it. Okay, so and what was the password that we have given, guys? Did I give the same password or? Isha. Okay. Isha test1. Okay. So let me go ahead and register once more. Okay, I don't know the password, I can't remember the password. Okay, so let me register with Isha test1. Okay, I'm just creating a different username, guys. Okay, I'm registering with a different username so that I can demonstrate something for you. Okay, so Isha test1 is the username, Isha test1 is the password. Okay, So let me copy this username and copy this password. Okay. now since you have logged in with Isha test 1, it is showing as Isha test 1. Okay. Had you logged in with Isha test 2, it will show it as Isha test 2. Or you log in with maybe Kumar, it will show it as Kumar. It will show as Kumar. Okay. Now if you log in with J2E, here it is showing it as ABC, welcome ABC. Okay. If you log in with some other username called Isha test 1, okay, Isha test 1 and Isha test 1, then it will show you Isha test 1 here. Okay. So in case if you had to put a checkpoint here, in case if you have to put a checkpoint here, let's see how it will work. Okay. So let's go ahead and put a checkpoint here. You are logging with J2E. Okay. And if you look at the output, okay, if you look at the output, okay, it says that welcome ABC. Let's put a checkpoint on ABC, okay, or assertion on ABC. Okay, so if this logs in properly, then you will be able to see a text called ABC. Okay, you are able to see a text called ABC. Response assertion, main samples, subsamples also you can put it. Okay, so equals to or substring or contains, whatever you are comfortable with. Okay, so now do you think if I execute this, will it run, guys? If I execute this, will it run? Okay, so if you're logging with J2E, okay, it will log in with, it will show the text called ABC. It will show the text called ABC. Okay, that's exactly on the text where I put the assertion. So do you think it will pass now? Okay, do you think it will pass now? You just said pass or fail. Okay, what will happen now? Quickly, guys. Okay, so fail. Okay, so why would it fail? I mean, I'm just trying to understand. You're logging in with J2E, and once you log in with J2E, you're expected to see the text called ABC, and that's exactly what I've put here. So we are expecting it to pass, right? They're expecting it to pass, right? Because if it logs with ABC, I mean J2E, you're expecting a text called ABC, and that's what you're putting a text checkpoint on. So it will pass, right? Yeah, it will pass, right? Yeah, it will pass. So let's go ahead and look at that. I'm interested in looking at the sampler called login 18. Let's see if it will pass or fail. Okay. Oh, one or more subsamples. It is supposed to pass. Why it's supposed to? I mean, okay. Hang on. So let me say. I think there is a space here. So let me go ahead and run this. Okay, login has passed now. Okay, so you see, if you put ABC, after logging in, okay, you are expected to see the text called ABC, and that's what has happened. You see, the login has passed. Okay, and there are no issues. You're able to see the text called ABC even in this response over here, and that's exactly what you have put the text over here, and you're expected it to pass. Okay, now. Let's go ahead and then put this in a variable. Okay, so let me create some variables, user defined variables. Okay, username called J2. Let me create a user defined variable here. Okay, so add a non-test element. Where would I get the user defined variables? User defined variables. Okay, in the user defined variables. Okay, so let me create a username defined variable called username. Okay, and for the username I'll give J2EE. Okay, and create one more variable called password. Okay, and give the password, whatever the password it is. Here the password is J2E. Okay, now I've created two variables, username and password. Okay, and username contains the username, password contains the password. Okay, so let's go ahead and use these variables here. Okay, so instead of the hard-coded value, which is J2E, I'm passing the variable. Okay, since this is a variable, it has to be an open braces and closes braces with a dollar symbol. Okay, and then I'm going to use the password as well. Wonderful. Okay, So I don't need this one. So let me delete all the unwanted stuff. Remove. Okay. In fact, I don't need this one as well. Okay. So let me remove this one as well. Okay, there is only one user defined variable component here, and there are two variables. One is the username and password, and currently I'm trying to execute with a username called J2E. Since you have declared the variables here, you're passing the variables. So will this work, guys? Will this work? Okay, all I have done is, instead of hard coding J2E here, I have passed these variables, and for these variables I have given the values over here. So it is supposed to work. Okay, just to make sure that it is working. Okay, let me go ahead and run it. You see the assertion of this has passed. Okay, that you can check it over here as well, and here you can go back and look at it. Okay, so you can look at the response body, and here it is saying ABC. Welcome ABC. Wonderful. Okay, now I wanted to execute the same script for a different username, okay. This time around I wanted to execute with, what was that? Isha, was it Isha test 1, guys? That's what we have registered with. Okay, Isha test 1. Okay, so it's Isha test 1. Okay, so I wanted to execute this script with a username called Isha test 1. Okay, and username called Isha test 2. Sorry, password called Isha test 1. Okay, now the script here, okay, instead of running with J2E, now it will try to log in with Isha test 1 and Isha test 1. Okay, will this script pass, guys? Now will this script pass? What do you think? The script would pass now? I want to hear from all of you quickly. Yes, the script is supposed to pass, but pay attention here. What is the text that I am trying to do an assertion or do a checkpoint? It is ABC. Is this what I am expected? Is this what I am expected? Once you log in with Isha test 1, am I expected to see ABC? No, this is not I am expected to see. So I am expecting to see a text called Isha test 1. Okay, so you have replaced it over here. Now if I go ahead and run it, it will certainly work. Okay, so I'll go ahead and run it and you see it is working. Okay, had it been ABC, if you have not changed the assertion text here and it was still ABC, okay, it would have failed. Okay, it would have certainly failed. Okay, it would have certainly failed, which is clearly saying, you see, test expected to contain ABC, but ABC is not what it will be there in the output. What you will be seeing is Isha test 1. Okay, so depending on the login, the text, the outcome text is changing all the time. And you have to change this assertion text all the time, which is not a possibility. It is kind of hard. So this is the reason why the display name is the username in this case. Okay, in this case the display name is the username. If the display name was something else, you would have created another variable called display name. Okay, display name, you have created another variable called display name. Okay, and give the display name also to, okay, since the username and display name can be different. Okay, for example, had it been J2EE, the username is J2EE, password is J2EE. What was the display name, guys? Guys? ABC. Wonderful. Okay, the display name was ABC. Okay, it totally depends upon how you have registered it. Okay, now okay, so you just pass this display variable into this one. Okay, because you cannot come back to this assertion and change the value all the time for each and every username. Okay, it is difficult. So that's the reason why you have created a variable and put the display name inside it and pass this variable here. Okay, will this work, or do I need to make any changes here? Will this work, or do I need to make any changes here? What do you say, guys? Wonderful, Gaurav. So this is a variable. This is a Jmeter variable. So opening braces and closing braces, and with a dollar symbol. Okay, now it will work. Irrespective of whatever you are passing, whatever the username that you are passing, or the username with which you are logging in, your your assertions will certainly work. What has happened now? There seems to be some issue. So let me stop it. Okay, now it started working. Okay, so wonderful guys. You see, oh, everything is failed. Why? Okay, so let me see if everything is failed. Okay, so there seems to be some problem here. The application is down, maybe. Okay, the application is still up, guys. Maybe it's just one odd thing, something fishy has happened. So let me try now. Okay, now you see it is passing, and even the login has passed. It is searching for the text called ABC, and it is there. How do you know it is searching for the text called ABC? Because whatever is there in this variable called display name, that's what it will search, and what's there in the display name, ABC. Okay, in case if you're logging in with Isha test 123, okay, Isha test 1, okay, so username is same, the way I've registered is username is same, password is also same, and the display name is also same. That's how I've registered it. So in this case, all the three variables have the same value. Now I need not have to go ahead and touch this script, guys. You see, all I've done is change the variables here. Nowhere I have to go and touch the script. Even in the response assertions, I need not have to go and touch the script. It will take care of itself. Okay, now just let me clear all the results. Okay, go ahead and run it, and my login will also work now. You see, the login is passed. Okay, it is expected to contain Isha test 1, and that's what we are searching. How do we know that we are searching for the text? Because we are searching for the text, whatever is there in the display name. What is there in the display name? Isha 1, and that's exactly what is there in the output as well, and that's the reason why the script has passed. Okay, in case you have put an assertion which changes from login to login, or it changes from iteration to iteration, I would advise you to create a variable for that and pass the variable in the assertion results and give an appropriate value for that variable, for maybe for that each iteration, or maybe for that each login, or however it is. Okay, are we clear, guys? Are we clear as to how this is working? All of you? Okay, maybe when this concept called parameterization, if I cover, then this variable and then this one will make more sense. Okay, because for iteration to iteration, if the values are changing, you have to get it from a parameter file, and once we do the parameterization, this particular thing makes more sense to you, more than enough. Okay, wonderful. So during the parameterization, please remind me, guys, so that I'll be able to demonstrate the same thing for you. Okay, I'll be able to demonstrate the same thing. Okay, wonderful, Kumar. We have been looking at this text response only. Okay, what about the other things? Okay, the other things are not that important, to be honest. Okay, so this is one which is mainly used. Okay, but I'll quickly cover a couple of them. Okay, so so that you understand what they are not that difficult. So response code, what are the different response codes that you're aware of, guys? What are the different response codes that you're aware of? It might be an interview questions. I used to call this as HTTP codes. Okay, what are the different response codes or the HTTP codes that you're aware of, guys? Okay, wonderful. Okay, so 200, anything with 300 means 300, 301, 302, 303 or something like that. Okay, 400s like 404, 403, 401, 40. Okay, and it could be 500s, or it could be maybe 600s. I think 600s are also there. Okay, for out of this, anything which is 500 and 400, you know it's difficult. It's, you know that that's there is an issue. Okay, anything between 400 and then 500, there is an issue with the script. Okay, so anything which is 200, you know it is perfectly fine. Okay, now I wanted to make sure that the response are correct or not. So let me use this sampler. For this sampler, I have already put a response assertion, which is a text response. Let me use this click one, okay, this sampler, and add an assertion. Okay, here I'll check for the response codes. Okay, and I want the response codes to be 200, or sometimes it could be 300 as well. Okay, so sometimes it could be 300 as well. So either 200 or 300, it is a pass. Okay, so the response codes you are checking for the main sample, and it should contain or matches, okay, or equal to, okay, equal to 200 or 300. Okay, then you know that it is a pass. Okay, so you don't want that to be 400 or 500, so you can add that kind of response as well. So response course should not be equal to, you see, not be equal to, okay, should not be equal to 404, okay, should not be equal to 500. Okay, so the response should be 300, 200, and you are also saying that it should not be equal to 400, 404, or 400. Both of them are not required for the same sampler. Okay, so this is confusing. Let me delete this. This component is not required here. So let me move this particular response assertion to, or you can put this response assertion on the thread group level so that it will check each of those sampler and make sure that it is not equal to 400 or 500. Okay, so you're putting it on the thread group level. What does that mean, guys? You're putting that on the thread group level. What does that mean? It will go ahead and check each of the sampler which is there on that particular thread group. There are how many samplers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will go ahead and check all these 6 samplers and check, the response code for each of them is not equal to 400, or each of them is not equal to 500. And for this particular sampler, you're specifically saying that it should be equal to 200 or 300. Are we clear, guys? If I put the response assertion on the thread group level, it will go ahead and check all the samplers which are there on that particular level. If you put it on just on the sampler level, it will go ahead and check only for that sampler. Are we clear, guys? Have you understood this point? Yeah, so now let me go ahead and execute it. Let me clear all the listeners here, and let me go ahead and execute it. Okay. Okay, so click seems to have failed. Okay. Oh, it is saying that it should be equal to both 200 and 300. Okay, it cannot be equal to both 200 and 300 at the same time. It can be either equal to 200 or 300. Okay, so I need to delete this. Okay, so now let me go ahead and execute it. It cannot be equal to 200 and 300 at the same time, guys. Okay, it can be either equal to 200 or equal to 300. Okay, so now it will go ahead and execute. Now it will go ahead and it will pass now. Okay, so you see the click has passed. Okay, so the click has passed, which means that this assertion has passed. Okay, so you're saying that it should be equal to 200, and if you go back and check this click 200 and see what is the response. So let me go to this click 200, and you go to the response header and you see it is 200. Since it is 200 and you have put the assertion also on 200, it has passed. Okay, earlier you have said 200 and 300. If you said add, so it will not be or, it will be and. At the same time, it cannot be 200 and 300. It could be 200 or 300. That's not what you could put. You can put 200 or and 300. So that's not what it will work here. So you see this one. Okay, maybe you can put an or, and then you say 200 or 300, then it will work, I believe. Okay, haven't explored this or part, so let me go ahead and now do it. Okay, either it could be 200 or it could be 300. Okay, let me go ahead and check if this passes now. Okay, you see it has passed. Okay, so you said it has to be either 200 or 300. This seems to be 200 here, so I have used or, so you see it could be either 200 or 300. Okay, if you don't put or, it will be considering it as an and. It should have both 200 and 300. It is not possible to have a response code of 200 and 300. That is not possible. Okay, so there you go, guys. So you can put an or so that it will check both 200, 300, and also it is checking that it is not equal to 404 or 50 or 500. Okay, it is not equal to 404 or 500. Okay, so that also it is checking. That also it is checking. Okay, are we clear, guys, how this response code works? Are we clear, all of you? If I'm going too fast, please let me know, guys. Okay, I might slow down a little bit. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, now okay, so response message, what does this response message means? Okay, so this is the response message, guys. Okay, okay, you see that? Okay, right here is the response message. This is what is the response message. Okay, so typically if the script has passed, the response message will be okay. So capital O and capital K. Okay, that's what you're checking. So let's suppose for the logout you wanted to check that response message. Okay, so again you need not nobody will tell you which one of this needs to be used. It totally up to your discretion as to what to be used. I'm exploring all the options which are there. I usually use text response. Most of the performance testers and Jmeter experts use the text response, but it's up to you if you wanted to use certain things. Okay, like this response message is there. Instead of putting for one sampler, it is better you put it for all the samplers. Okay, so this response messages, response codes, it is better you put it for all the samplers. How you can make sure that all the samplers have a response message of okay? By putting this response message on the thread group level. I put it on the thread group level so that it will check each of the sampler, and what it is checking, the response message, and what it should be capital O and capital K. Okay, so that's what you are checking. Okay, that's what you are checking. Response message on okay. Response message on okay. This is response message on 404 comma 500, and this is not okay. Should not contain 404 405 500. This response message you are putting it on okay. How? With the response message you have put and kept it okay, and let's see what will happen to all of them. Okay, will it pass or will it fail? And this okay and 404 500 will be checked for all the samplers, guys, not one sampler. So you see all the samplers have passed. Oh, it says received okay, comparison 200, test fail, expected something okay, and 300. Okay, so it's saying that 300 click is not working fine. Let me check what has had problem here. Or 200 300 equal to 200. Oh, I've changed this as response message, not sure why. Okay, this has to be response code. Okay, so now it will work. Okay, wonderful, it has worked. Okay, now you see all the samplers have passed, which means that this response assertion that you put on okay has passed. Okay, has passed because you're checking all the samplers, 1 2 3 4, all the 4 samplers you are checking. This okay message will be checked on all the 4 samplers, and all the 4 samplers have passed, which means that your response assertion has passed. The response assertion has passed. In case if I put a small okay, what do you think will happen, guys? If I put a small o and small k, what do you think will happen? What will happen, guys? Will the assertions pass or fail? Fail. Okay, Jmeter is case sensitive, so it will check for small o and small k, but in each of those responses you have a capital O and capital K, so you see all the responses have failed. And if you go back and check, you know why it has failed? Because the message expected to contain a small o and small k. Why the second sampler has failed? Same message. Why the third sampler has failed? Same message. 4 sampler has failed? Same message. Now the response assertion that you have put, it will work on each of those samplers, and it is checking for small o and small k. Since it is not there, it will fail. Okay. Now if you change it to capital O and capital K, it will certainly pass. It will certainly pass. Okay. Now what is this response header? This will go ahead and check your response headers if a particular text is passed or failed. So let's go ahead and see some of the response headers here. Okay. You see the response body and response headers. You can put an assertion point on any of these response headers. So let me put it on this one. Okay, let me put it on this one. You can put it on any one of them. You can put it on any one of them. So this header is only specifically for the launch. So you have to put, and for each sampler the header might change. Each samplers the headers might change. As you can see here, you see header called set cookie, and here if you see that header set cookie is not there. Okay, so the headers might change for each of those samplers, so it is better to put the samplers on the put the assertions on the sampler level rather than on the thread group level. So let me put assertion on the launch. Okay. On the headers. Okay, here is the header that you are checking for. Here is the header that you are checking for. Okay. So this response assertion is for the headers. Okay, these are not that commonly used, guys, and that's why I'm going little fast. Okay, if you think you're overwhelmed, please let me know. Okay, did I change this to capital? Okay, fine. Okay, now my concentration is only on this particular sampler, and let me delete the other samplers or disable them. My launch has only one assertion now, the two on the headers, and you're checking for this particular header. If this header comes, then this header appears in the response, then it will pass, else it will fail. Okay, let me go ahead and check if the launch one is passing. You see, launch has passed, and the response headers, you're able to see this response header, and that's the reason why it's passing. Kumar, can you show it for the second header, one of the other headers as well? Let's try on the content type, or maybe expires, or maybe language. Okay, so let me try. You see, it has passed. You're expected to get this language, and that you got this get this header, and you got this header as well, and that's there in the that's what you're checking for. Okay, are we clear, guys? Are we clear as to how the headers works? All of you? Okay, wonderful, guys. Okay, so you can put on the request headers as well. Okay, so request headers are nothing but, what is the request? You see, go to the request headers, and you can put assertions on the request headers as well. I'm not sure why you have to actually use that, but they have given an option. You can play around with that. Okay, so this is what it is, guys. Okay, you can explore the other ones which are not difficult as well. Okay, you can play around with the other assertions as well. So I wouldn't wanted to use this class time for explaining each and every one of them. Okay, so this is straightforward. You can play around with this one as well. If you have any issues, you come back to me tomorrow, and I will be able to explain this URL sample document, those cases and request data. Okay, and except text response, the others are very rarely used, or I would say not used at all. Okay, this one and this one and this one, they can be used to certain extent on whole of, not for each sampler, for all of the samplers together, and that's the reason why I've explained these two, because these two assertions you can put it on the thread group, on the script level, not just for a particular transaction or particular sampler. That's why I've explained these two. The others you can explore it, and if you have any questions, you can get back to me. Okay. Now there is this Jmeter variable name to use. What is this, Kumar? Okay, let me add this. Okay, so where is the assertions, guys? Assertions. Okay, response assertion, and I will say Jmeter variable to use. How many Jmeter variables I have? I have a Jmeter variable called display name. Okay. Okay, I have a Jmeter variable called display name. In the display name, I look for the text response, and what is this expected to contain? Okay, expected to contain Isha test 1. Okay, Isha test 1. Okay, so now we will see if this response assertion will pass or fail. Okay, so in the display name, okay, in the variable called display name, we are expected to contain a particular text. Okay, that's what you have given here. Okay, now let's see if this will pass or fail. I'll disable all the other assertions. Okay, so you see, launch has passed. Okay, launch has passed, which means that what it has done in this particular Jmeter variable, it has checked if each text 1 is there or not. Typical, what happens, where do we use these Jmeter variables is, sometimes, like, in the concepts like correlation or maybe the concepts like parameterization, you expect some value to be captured from the response for a particular variable. Okay. There is a Jmeter variable, and as the script executes, it will extract some value from this from the application. Okay, again I'm telling you guys, as the script executes, okay, Jmeter will extract some values from your application and store it in the Jmeter. Okay. And you wanted to check whatever the value that you have extracted, okay, into the Jmeter variable, is that what is expected or not? You wanted to check. You can do something like this. Okay, you can put a response assertion on the Jmeter variable, whatever the variable it is, and whatever the text that you're expected it to capture from this particular application, that text is there or not, you can put it over here, and then you can do this. Okay, this particular Jmeter variable name to use, this kind of response assertion will be more will be used in this kind of cases. Okay, it will make more sense, if it is used in this kind of cases, wherein Jmeter variable you are not giving the value, here you are giving the value. Okay, here you are giving the value, but sometimes this display name or whatever the variable, you capture it from an Excel sheet or you capture it from the application, and you wanted to be absolutely sure that that value, whatever you have captured, is whatever you wanted or not. So this is when it makes more sense. Okay, so you are checking that whatever is there in the variable is particular text or not. Is it okay, guys? Is it okay? Maybe this variable I'll try to use this when I'm doing, may not be correlation, but something else. Okay, I'll try to explain it to you at the later point of time. Okay, but you're capturing it from the script, and when you're capturing it from the script, you expected it to be something, and that value is there or not, you are checking it. Okay, that value is that value, whatever you're expected to capture, is it correct or not, you're checking it. Okay, by doing this. Are we clear, guys, as to how the Jmeter variable will work? Okay, are we clear how this Jmeter variable name is used? If you have not understood also, it's fine. Very rarely used, guys. These kind of things are very rarely used. But you might get a doubt as to where this will be used, what this will be used. It will just check in that variable, in that particular variable, this text is there or not. That's what it will check. Whatever is there in that particular variable, okay, it is there or not. Okay, in this display name, this text Isha test one is there or not. You wanted to check it, so you can use this. Okay, in those kind of areas. Okay. Okay, so wonderful guys. So let's take a quick break, and once we get back from the break, okay, there are a couple of other assertions. I'll quickly go through those assertions and we'll try to wrap up today's class, or if possible, if you have more interest, we'll jump into parameterization as well. Okay, we'll jump into the concept called parameterization as well. So expect a 10 minutes break, guys. After 10 minutes break, expect the class to go to 40-45 minutes. Okay, if I'm going too fast or too slow, please let me know, and I'm muting myself. So guys, are you able to hear me? Can one of you please confirm if you're able to hear me? Okay, thank you guys, thank you. Okay, wonderful. Now before the break, we have explored as much as possible regarding this response assertion. Okay, so we have seen most of the options over here. Now let me look at the other ones. Okay, what kind of other assertions that we have. Okay, so a size assertion is there. Okay, maybe duration assertion, HTML assertion, XML assertion. We'll try to explore this one. Okay, Json assertion will be used if the response is JSON. Okay, so maybe you can explore that one. Maybe you can create some script for the RESTful web services and insert this JSON assertion and see, or maybe you can look at my last batch videos to see how we can use this JSON assertion. So right now let me demonstrate the size assertion for you. Okay, so okay, so I'll put the size assertion for launch one. Okay, so let me delete all the other assertions which are over here, might be a little confusing for us. So let me put the size assertion for the launch, and if you go back here and look at it, like how much is the size for the launch. Okay, if you can see for the launch one, okay, approximately we are downloading 5357 bytes. How much we are downloading? 5357 bytes of data has been downloaded. Okay, so here is the size that you expect if the launch has to happen properly, and here is the size of that response, or here is the amount of data that you're expected to receive from the server. Okay, here is the amount of data that you're expected to receive from the server, which is 5357. So maybe size, I'll say it as 5357. Okay, and this 5357 is what, guys? If 5357 is the bytes or kilobytes or megabytes, what is it? 5357 is bytes. If you want it in kilobytes, you divide it by 1024, you get it a kilobytes, which is approximately 5 KB. Okay, this is approximately 5 KB. How do I know? 5357 divided by 1024. Okay, so so I've put a size assertion. I said if the launch has to happen properly, then the amount of data that I'm expected to expect from the server or expected to be in the response is 5357. Okay, so it's a full response. Response headers, I'll say it's a full response. Full response, if you get the full response, this is the amount of data that I expected to get. So sometimes the amount of data that you get from the server might vary a little bit. So it is risky to give a particular number. Instead of this, I would say greater than 5000. This is a safer option. This is a safer option. And 5000 what? 5000 bytes. If the response is correct, then the response, the amount of data that you get from the server is greater than 5000. Okay, so maybe I'll do a clear all and go ahead and run it. Okay, and if my launch transaction has passed or launch sampler has passed, then the size assertion would have actually passed. Okay, so you see launch is passed, definitely the size assertion has passed. As I've told you, if the assertion has passed, nowhere it will tell you that it has actually passed. Nowhere it will tell you that it has actually passed. Okay, in case if I say less than, okay, less than 5000, definitely my assertion will fail, and you will be able to see this over here. You see the size assertion. Okay, so the result was wrong size. It is 5342, but it should have been less than 5000. Okay, so definitely it will fail. Okay, so size assertion is somewhere where we can use this size assertion. Maybe if there is a file download. Okay, there is a file download. Okay, and the downloaded file, we expected it to be some what do you say, of some particular size. Okay, we expect the file to download and the downloaded file to be of certain size. Then this size assertion will be appropriate over there. The size assertion will be appropriate over here. Okay, so how to deal with file downloads? It's actually very simple with Jmeter, guys. Do you want me to explain that? So I think in LoadRunner we have already done it. So do you want me to explain like how to deal with the file downloads in Jmeter as well, guys? I wanted some website for Jmeter. wherein it should show me file downloads. Okay, I need a website wherein it will download a file. So do you remember? Yeah. So do you remember, guys? Like the website that we have used for LoadRunner for downloading a certain file. You remember what was the website for the downloads in LoadRunner? Can you remember any website? Uh, if so, please let me know, guys. I need the website to download something. Okay. I need a website wherein I can download something. So my tools, it has any download. Okay, some Indian bank. It's very difficult. Can you explore it, guys? Can you give me that website by the end of this class? I'll try to explain the other concepts in the meanwhile. Can one of you volunteer? Oh, Union Bank of India. Okay, is that the website? India. So where was I downloading something from? Okay, let me do something. Okay, so maybe in the internet somebody would have Jmeter demo download. Somebody would have explained something about it. Okay, so quickly I want the website. Let me see what website they use. Oh, this is downloading the Jmeter itself. That's not what I want. How to test file download. This is what I want. Okay, so what is the website this guy is using? peedtest.telenet. Okay, peedtest.tele2.net. Okay, let me use the same thing. peed test. Oh, is it speed test? Okay, speed test.tele2.net. It's not speed test, it's speed test. Okay, speed test.tele2.net. Okay, and then in that, how is he downloading something from here? Okay, to force the usage of IP, this thing. Okay, KB file. Okay, here is the website that he is using, wherein there are a lot of functions. Okay, what is he using? Speedtest.tele2.net. Speed test. Okay, looks like the website has changed. Oh, it is FTP, not HTTP. Okay, FTP. Okay, so we can check this one. Wonderful. Okay, so let's use this website, guys. Instead of recording, we can directly build a build the script. Okay, watch carefully. How do we do it? Okay, so let's say I wanted to download 1 KB file. Okay, so it will go ahead and hit 1 KB and it will download the 1 KB file. Okay, wonderful. So let me build a script for that. Okay. Okay, so let me build in this test plan. Let me build a script for that. So let me add a thread group. Okay, so here I'll say it as file download. Wonderful, guys. Okay, so in this file download, okay, let me add one sampler here. Okay, just add a sampler, which is a HTTP sampler. Okay, in this sampler, I'm going ahead and hitting this website here. Okay, so here you'll say FTP. Okay, instead of HTTP or HTTPS, you have FTP. And give the website here. Okay, and I don't know. Let me see. Usually how it is. You have okay. So you don't need a forward slash here, and path you have a forward slash, and let's say what you wanted to download. You wanted to download a 1 KB file. Okay, so it will be 1 KB.zip is what I think it will be there. Okay, that's what he's building. So you see 1 KB.zip. Okay, and it has to be capital B and capital K. Okay, so capital B, capital K, capital B dot zip. Okay, so it will go ahead and download this file, and here you need not have to give any input. It is a get request, so it will go ahead and get this one. Okay, let me see if this passes or not. So let me add a listener. Okay, so this view results tree is good enough for me. Now let me go ahead and run this with one user, and let me disable all the other what do you say, other thread groups. Now only this thread group is available, which is file download. It is being executed with one user. It will go ahead and hit on this server and download this 1 KB file. Okay, so let me look at the results. It is failing. Oh, it's a non-HTTP. Port may not be negative. Okay, so port, we don't know what is the port for this application then in that case. So we need to know the port as well. So looks like, so I need another application then in that case. So what is this guys doing? Just give me one moment, guys. So this is what is an HTTP request or FTP request? So he didn't mess around with that HTTP, not sure why. So this was FTP. Okay, let me go ahead and run it now. It is failing. It is not an HTTP request. I need another website then. Okay, maybe this is not working, or maybe I need to do more research as to why this is doing. But if there is an error, you can look at the response data and you can see port may not be negative. Okay, it is expecting some port. Okay, so not sure what is the port that I'm supposed to give here. Okay, so here the port number, it is expecting that port number. Maybe for FTP, is there a standard port that I'm missing? I need to explore that part, because here there is no port that has been given to me. Okay, at least in this application. Okay, so that's the reason why it is failing. Port is 443 it is using. Okay, let me use this port 443 and give it a shot. Connection refused. Okay, let me give FTP. Had I had another proper website, it would have been easier, guys. Okay, FTP protocol is not supported. Okay, then how come that guy was able to do it? So okay, let's keep this aside, guys. Maybe tomorrow I'll come out with a website, a proper website wherein I can download some stuff. Okay, and also I'll be able to explain and put a size assertion over here. Okay, but whatever we are doing is absolutely right. You have to just give the URL and the path, and port number is not necessary usually, and give a get or whatever the request, and then the protocol. Okay, so either HTTP or HTTPS. Okay, if you give null, it will be typically HTTP. Okay, so typically whatever you give, that should be working, but it's not working here. Maybe there is an issue, or maybe I need to do more research, because it is connection is refused. So maybe I need to give more information along with this particular request. So let me do some research and come back to you guys. So or somebody has any suggestions? Correct the file name, it's 1 KB. Oh, okay. That could be the problem. Good catch. Still it is failing because the connection itself is refusing. Okay. It might not be that problem because the connection itself is refusing. So, and FTP is not supported protocol with Jmeter, to be honest. Okay. You see unsupported asking FTP protocol. Okay, so it didn't even go there, and it is not even validating that. Okay, it is failing over here itself. Let me see. Yeah, it is still failing. Okay, maybe if you have some proper application, guys, wherein you can download some stuff, let me know. We can explore it right away. This seems to be FTP protocol, and there seems to be some issues here. If I pay enough attention and spend some time, okay, I'll be able to solve it, but I don't want it to use the class time for that. So tomorrow when I come back, first let me start with the file download, and then I'll explain the other concepts. Okay, Meanwhile, by the end of the class, by today's class, if I complete, and if you come out with that application wherein I can download something, okay, try port number, that is FTP port. Try port number 21. Is that sure? Okay, let me enable it. Okay, let me disable that. It's not the port number that is the problem, but it looks like, it is the protocol that is having the issue. Okay, 21. Let me try that. The port number is not the problem. Okay, SSL handshake, unrecognized SSL message, plain text connection. Okay. Oh, port number is working, the SSL connection is not working fine. So we need to find out, if you have to, what is the SSL that needs to be required for this. Okay, so some progress. Okay, we'll look into it, guys. So don't worry, everything has a solution. Okay, looks like a SSL handshake issue. So we'll try to solve that. Okay, so at the later point of time. Okay. Okay, so we have covered the size assertion, guys. So there is one thing pending from my side. Okay, there is one thing pending from my side, which is how to demonstrate the file downloads. I just need a proper application, okay, wherein I can demonstrate. Okay, file downloads using Jmeter. Okay, I'll get back to you on that. Some random application you give me, I'll take a little bit of time to understand that and figure out what is the issue and all that. So there we can definitely solve this, but I might need some time, so I'll get back to you on that later. So now that the size assertion is done and I've already demonstrated here, okay, for the launch, you see the size assertion you have demonstrated. Typically the size assertions is not used for a regular HTTP request or regular samplers. The samplers which has some file downloads, that's where the size assertion will be more useful, okay, which we will be talking about it tomorrow. Okay, again. Okay, now let me look at the other assertions. Okay, duration assertion. This will check for the response times. So for example, the response times should be less than or equal to 2 seconds. That's what has been given. So you add the duration assertion as 2000. Okay, you put a duration assertion and you put the value 2000 milliseconds, which is 2 seconds. So it will validate if the launch is happening within 2 seconds or not. If it is not happening within 2 seconds, this particular thing will fail. Okay, so let me enable it. Okay, let me go ahead and run it. Okay, now let me check if that assertion has passed. Okay, it is still checking the size. Okay, so let me disable or delete the size. Okay, let me go ahead and run this one now. Okay, so the size the launch has passed, so which means that my time is less than 2000. Whatever the response times, it is less than 2000. You see, the launch has passed, so the response times is less than 2 seconds. You see, in fact, it's not even 2 seconds, it is 0.3 seconds. 345 milliseconds means 0.3 seconds. Okay, so in case if the duration you put, they have given it as 0.1 seconds. Okay, so 0.1 seconds is what they wanted it to be. So you give the 0.1 seconds. Now you try to run it. Definitely the assertion will fail. You see, the duration assertion, the operation lasted too long. It took 332 milliseconds. But what is the response times, or what is the assertion that you have put it as? 100 milliseconds. So since you put 100 milliseconds and it has taken 332 milliseconds, the assertion has failed. Okay, but typically it will not be 100, it will be 2 seconds or maybe at least 1 second. Okay, that's how it will be. Okay, so this is how a duration assertion, not necessarily, I mean, I haven't seen anybody using the duration assertion, to be honest, guys. Okay, and there is HTML assertions. Okay, there is HTML assertions. So HTML assertion, it will not do any validation on any text or something like that. Okay, it will not do any validation on any text, or it will not do any validation on any size. It will not do any validation on any duration, or it will not do any validation on headers. It will not do any validation on anything. All it will do is if the response is there in the HTML format or not. All it will do is it will check if whatever the response that you get for the launch, it will be there in the HTML format or not. If it is not there in the HTML format, it will tell you how many warnings are there and how many errors are there in that HTML response that we got in that response. Okay, so all it will do is it will check if the response that we got, it is there in the HTML format or not. Okay, so let me go ahead and run it, and if it fails, it will tell you like how many. Okay, you see the HTML assertion. Okay, so 0 allowed and there are in 0 errors, but warnings, there are 32 warnings are there, and how many are allowed? 0 allowed, but there are 32 warnings. Okay, errors, how many? There are 0 allowed and 0 errors are there, but warnings, there are 32 warnings. You can tell, you can send this report to the developer saying that in the response of launch, okay, there are 0 errors, but there are 32 warnings. If he wants to fix those warnings, we'll go ahead and fix it. Okay, so you wanted to give some threshold values to it. You, even though there are, I mean, you don't want it to be 0, you want to give some threshold. Okay, saying that if 100 warnings are allowed and 10 warnings are allowed, and 100 warnings are allowed and 10 errors are allowed, you can give that threshold over here. So you can say that there are 10 errors that can be allowed and there are 100 warnings that can be allowed. Okay, now if you go ahead and run it, okay, it will not throw that kind of error. You see, it will not throw error. Even though there are 32 warnings are there, it is not showing up because you gave a threshold of 100 warnings and 10 errors. Okay, you can give it, if you give it as, you don't give any value, obviously it will take the values as 0, it will take the values as 0. You don't want to check on the warnings, you wanted to check only on the errors, you can say only errors. Because your developer says warnings, leave it, only errors I want to be. So if there are any errors reported to me, then you can check on the errors, and the threshold value is 0 you can give, and you can put it on the thread group level so that it will go ahead and check for every sampler over here. All the 4 samplers which are there, it will go ahead and check on all the 4 samplers. If there are any issues on any one of them, it will go ahead and report it to you. Okay, so now you go back and look at it. You see it has executed, and errors, there are no errors, no HTML errors whatsoever in any of them. Okay, this is what is an HTML assertion. Okay, similarly you can have an XML assertion as well. Okay, you can use the same HTML assertion and you can check for the XML warnings and as well, or you can put an XML assertion. Okay, again XML assertion also do the same thing, which is we'll check, if there is any issues in the XMLs. Okay, there are no thresholds, nothing are there. Okay, so you can go and check. You see, you put an XML assertion and there seems to be a problem with all the 4 samplers. Okay, doc type is disallowed when the feature blah 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 is set to true. Okay, so you can report the same thing to the developer saying that there is some issue with the XML that is there in the response. Okay, you can report this to the developer, and then if they wanted to take any action, they will go ahead and take the action. Again, XML assertion is just like HTML, wherein it will go ahead and check the formats, and if there are any issues with the formats, it will go ahead and report it to you. Okay, typically it is HTML, XML, you put it on the thread group level so that it will go ahead and check each and every sample. Okay, are we okay guys? Are we okay? Are we clear with what all the topics that have been discussed so far? And out of all of this, only the text response is regularly used. I've repeated twice that one yesterday, I mean the last class, and today I've repeated that. All others, very rarely used. Maybe useful for the interview purposes or something like that. Okay, so maybe they can ask you if you wanted to check the HTML format for each of those samplers. What would you do? Just put the HTML assertion. You wanted to check the XML format for each of them. What will you do? You put the XML assertion. These are mostly on the interview point of view. I've explained all this, guys, but in the regular usage point of view in the actual projects may not be used that often. Okay, unless the developer has said that please go ahead and check the HTML responses for each one of them. Just wanted to quickly have a look at it. In case if they ask for it, maybe you can go ahead and add these HTML assertions and XML assertions, response assertions, size assertions. Recently, one of the students was asked, what are all the assertions that you have used? Okay, so you can say that response assertion, size assertion, HTML assertion, XML assertion, duration assertion, JSON assertion. You said you can use all of this. Okay, even in the response assertion, you said text response, response code response, message response. So just to say that this is all that I've used. I've explained all this. But to be honest, very rarely used in the real-time projects. If they ask you like how did you do with the deal with the downloads, you just say that you recorded the download, and once the recording is done, you just put the size assertion just to make sure that the file is getting downloaded or not. Okay, or else tomorrow I'll show you how to build the script, if not for downloading, how to build the script for download. Or maybe I can instead of building it from the scratch, I can probably record this, I believe. Hang on 1 second, guys. Okay, add, just give me one moment. HTTP script recorder. Okay, and then let me add what do you see, the group. The thread group is already here. Okay, in this thread group I will add a sampler called recording sampler. No, sorry, I will add a logic controller called recording controller. Okay, so let me go ahead and record it. Okay, but let me set the proxy before doing that. Okay, so let me set the proxy. Wonderful. Okay, so let me get this URL. Already set the proxy. Start recording. Okay, hang on. Where do you want it to start recording? Start recording in file downloads, and in the file downloads in the recording controller, I want it to start recording. Okay, so it's not even showing up. It's saying it's temporarily down. Okay, it's not working. If I do it without the proxy, I think this is the proxy issue. Maybe the proxy is not allowing. Okay, start recording. Is the proxy set correctly, guys? Let me check the proxy. Localhost 8888. Okay. Localhost 8888. The proxy has been set properly. Okay. Start recording. So I'm exploring certain things, guys. Okay. You can stay in the class if you want. Okay. Maybe try demo hacker. It's working. Yeah, it's working. So issue is with this one. Okay. It is refusing to record. Okay. Fine. Not an issue. So what I will do is proxy. Take away the proxy. And by the way, if you have any suggestions, you can give me, guys. Oh, I can use this HTTP. No, this is not downloading anything here. Okay, this seems to be a server, some other website altogether, Dejan. I want this website here. Okay, so let me go to the developer tools. Okay, and then stop recording, and then bring it up, and maybe just download something here. Okay, wonderful. Okay. Okay, it's nothing got recorded. Maybe let me see. Save all as the hair content. Desktop. Save it. Okay, and then convert it. We already know how to convert it. Convert how to JMX. Okay, choose the file. Go to the desktop. Select it. Convert. I'm exploring different ways, guys. So in case if it doesn't work out, I'll come back to you tomorrow with the exact script. Maybe this application or some other application. Okay. me save the script and then bring the script in. Okay, nothing is there. Okay. Nothing got recorded. Yeah, I was expecting that because in this there is nothing. You see zero size. Okay, nothing is there for this. Zero size. Okay, and that's the reason why it is nothing got recorded. Anyways, don't worry, guys. So I'll come back to you later. Okay, or maybe I can use a bad boy to record it or something. So tomorrow I'll get back to you on this one, guys. It might take 10 to 15 minutes to figure out, so we'll do it tomorrow. So guys, any questions? Any questions? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So watch, see you tomorrow at the same time. Tomorrow the class starts exactly at intended time. There will not be any delays tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you. See you tomorrow.